Okay, looks like I'm live. Last time I tried this, it was cutting in and out. My mic was cutting in and out. So if anybody can hear me, please let me know if the mic is cutting in and out, and then I'll have to do something about that. Just want to make sure before I start. Let's see. Let me see what the chat says. Okay, I see the chat now. Sorry, it took a minute. Okay, looks a little bit blurry though. Can you still hear me? Okay, Nana B. Okay, I see you. Thank you. Let me make sure I'm still in the room. Hey, what's up, Pinkney? Okay. See, now that I'm looking at the chat, I got to figure out how to get back in the actual Hangout. That's the problem now. Give me 1 second. Hey, J Ben. All right, here we go. All right, so basically, what I was going to talk about, this is just something where I know when I say Israelite movement ending, all I'm really saying, this is for people that care about the plight of black folks. By that is, and when I say black people, I mean, I don't want to get into what words mean and all that kind of stuff. And what I mean by black folks is when you go to the poorest of the poor areas, the hood, those people you see there. And when you go to the rich neighborhoods, those people that you don't see there. That's who I'm talking about. When I say the plight situation, this predicament that our people are in as a whole, all I'm, if you're concerned about that, then if you're not concerned about it, then this discussion don't really concern. And so what I'm getting at is, for dealing with that particular situation, is the Hebrew Israelite movement, or has it ever been something that has helped? Has it helped us? That's all I want to, just an open discussion about that. That's it, man. Like, I'm just going to give you my take, or my stance on it, as far as, not per se. No, I don't think it should. I don't think any belief system should end. Maybe somebody does, but I don't. I'm not saying that. Um, I think that it should be put in its proper context, though. Just like, um, someone that might be part of another religious belief. That's kind of how I look at it now. Like, it should be put in a. It should be used for what it's used for. And I think that if people are going to, this is just me. I'm not saying what other people should do. This is just me. Um, I think that what people's religious beliefs are is their business. And I don't think that, as a movement, it's really helped our people as a whole, the whole Hebrew Israelite, what I call movement. But can it be something beneficial at all? Sure. I think anything that causes you to want to be a better person, treat people better, improve yourself, I think that's beneficial and I think that's good. But I think, what also has happened with the movement is, because people have a certain belief or walk or whatnot, it's caused division, and it's caused people not to want to work together. It's caused people to hate and have problems with other people. And I think that holds us back, just to be real. And in my experience, I was a Hebrew Israelite for 20 years. And, I look at it a little bit differently now. You know, coming When you first want to become a part of a religious organization or a religious thought process, the idea is you're changing yourself and becoming a new person. But now I think that you're still the same person. I don't think that I'm a different person. I think that, made me want to strive to improve the person I am. But reality is, I'm still the same person. I think that's reality. And I think that's reality really for everybody. Another reason why I say that, my experience in dealing with Hebrew Israelite, groups, or, churches, whatever you want to call it. Yes, the belief is you're supposed to be morally superior than all the other people around you. especially the Christians. You're supposed to be superior morally. I'm a better person than you because I have the truth. But I think in reality, a lot of things that we have differences about, um, I think what's been lost sight of is some of the big differences have nothing to do with morals. Sure. And a lot of the things that I notice and have experienced through the years is that the people that say they're so holy, the people that say that they're so righteous because they now serve the God of Israel, um, in my experience, aren't any more holy or righteous or Muslim or someone that just has a genuine concern or love for his fellow man or fellow brother. The big differences come in ritual stuff. I eat this, they don't eat that. I rest on this day, they don't. Therefore, they're wicked and God need to kill all them. That type of mindset. And for me, I'm just at a point where I have to go beyond that type of mindset. That's just me, you know. So if you are a that type of mindset still like I was, it's not so much that it's bad and you shouldn't be that way and you shouldn't do that type of faith or religion or whatever. But, again, I just think we have to be careful not to let it get in the way of how we deal with each other and how we progress as a people. You know, if it's something that's causing division and that type of thing, then, when it comes to these problems, it's not conducive for us. You know, that's why I say, if people want to do a certain thing or believe, whatever they want to believe, that's fine for them. You know, let me see if I can see the chat. That's why I say it don't have to. When I say end, I'm not really talking about, oh, we need to just get rid of all. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, as far as the purpose of us doing better as a people, where does this really stand? Where does this movement really stand? And I know that some people were saying that it's not a movement. I'll just say this: anything that causes a people to want to walk a certain way, change their life to go in a certain direction, change their thought process, that means the things that they're doing, what they believe. I'm going to stop eating this. I'm going to do this from now on because if I do this, God is going to come save my people. You know, you did something differently because of something that you learned. That's a movement. However you want to look at it, it's a movement. All right, I got to figure out how to look at the chat. Let's see. I'm trying to make it where I can see you guys in the chat and be in the hangout at the same time. That's the weird part about it. Let's see. 1 second. Okay, here we go. Oh, Bleedo, what's up? Okay. Creates religious zealots. Yeah. Okay. Who's the brother that says in its current form it isn't functioning properly? It's regressive. What do you mean by that? When you say it's regressive, it's just not. In other words, they're going about it the wrong way. Is that what you mean? Hebrews in the hood. What's up? We won't stop growing. Oh, 4 dislikes. I got 7 dislikes. Well, I mean, that's how it is, man. I mean, you have to understand. I expect people to dislike stuff now because you have to understand my following is Israelite, and now I'm talking consider myself that anymore. So of course that's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Because it sounds like I'm going against everything. So yeah, people going to do that. I mean, hey. So hey, I mean, um, with the misinformation and can you guys still hear me? We can't build because of the misinformation and constant bickering. Yeah, I mean that's the whole thing, man. Let me hate. I mean, how can you build? I mean, what I notice, every Hebrew Israelite group has an enemy group, and I think that's by design. All this is by design, man. It's all. I mean, um, I remember I was in a group where there was 3 groups in one city, and you could actually ride a bike to each one, and none of them were speaking to each other. And I knew way back then that that's not right. I mean, um, okay, well, that's good. But I'm just talking about in my experience, the ones that I knew of, everyone had one. Every group had a group that they like to talk about. Well, look at them over there. You know, they got their women wearing pants, or you know, they don't keep the Sabbath like we do. You know, their beard. They're trimming their beards and all these different things, man. I mean, some of the things that, and that's another thing, man. Like the things that do divide the Israelites have, when you really think about it, do they really have to do with how you treat your brother? That's what I mean about ritual stuff, man. The stuff that we were using to divide from each other are silly. When you really, I mean, come on. I mean, if it's really about us getting to a certain point from where we are now, some of this stuff need to be on the sideline. That's my whole point. Well, most of it. We need to sideline all this minimal stuff. Right. And one of the things, see, I'm just the type of person where, even way back then, even before I was an Israelite, I'm just not a follower. I can't. I mean, I'm an independent thinker. I've always been like that. So I'm gonna do what seems right at the time. I mean, I understand that people want to be part of groups and people want to be. I mean, we're people that haven't had anything for so long. Oh, okay. Peace out. But yeah, appreciate that, Hebrews in the Hood. But yeah, I mean, some people want to be a part of something, and that's why they become or they join groups because that when you're a people that haven't had anything, you know, we had nothing to make us feel important. A lot of our people. So when we come across something, wow, I have something now. We're the people. Now you got something, and that's something that is special to you. So it's sort of like, you know, now I got something to make myself feel a certain way or feel important. You see what I'm saying? When, we should have been feeling important regardless, whether you're part of something or not part of something. Because the bottom line is we are part of something. If we were all looking at it like we're all together, then we were already part of something. If you want to have a study group or whatever where people meet in certain places and talk about certain things, that's fine, but there's a time for that. But we shouldn't let that get in the way of, the whole progress thing. That's all I'm saying. I remember I started with Ben Ami's group. What Hebrews in the Hood say about the ILG? Let's see. Oh, well, I'll just say it. When I was at the ILG, the what I'll call enemy group was the NCCI in Atlanta. You know, and that was they were the ones that were wrong. And everybody was talking about them. I didn't know nothing about them. You know, but that's what people were saying. How do you progress when your end goal is different? Um, I think all of our end goals are to not be oppressed. So I hope that none of our end goals are different than that. So if we're saying, see, that's the whole thing, whether you're a Muslim or an Israelite or whatever, if you're a part of a black, we'll just say that, part of a black movement in general, that movement is toward uh, power. All of us want that. So to me, that goal, like I said, everything else is just religious stuff. That's for the Bible studies on the side. Like I say, if that was our main focus and everybody would be like, that's what we're trying to get to. Um, in the meantime, we should figure out how to put all that other stuff to the side. Not get rid of it, but that's just me. I think we should put it to the side when it comes to that goal. What about my Oh, Carl, yeah, I haven't had a chance to look at that yet. I haven't forgot. But Christian Israelites are okay with being oppressed because Jesus is coming to save them. Yeah, that goes back to religion. See, Christian Israelites are 85% of the movement. Yeah. Um, but see, I think that could be changed. Like even with the Christians, you say Christian Israelites. I'm not sure if you mean Christians or just I don't know if you mean black Christians or a certain type of Israelite sect. But even with the Christians, if we had the type of like Dr. King before he got killed, I think that if we had well, we don't even have to use him. If we had a certain type of leader, if we had pastors that weren't just about, benefiting themselves off of doctrine, then we could still get some the Christians could even get somewhere. But the problem is the pastors aren't they're not as far as, you know, how do we improve the community? They're just improving their pockets, And when you're in that when they're not even telling the people that they need to try to, you know, improve the community or how to do that, or if it's even possible. They don't even talk about it. And that's the main thing that I think is holding us back, Israelites who believe in Jesus. Okay. I consider them Christians. Okay. But yeah, I mean, my thing is, I have a new way of kind of looking at it now because it's like I feel a little more free because now I don't have that condemnation that I used to have. So now I'm a little more open to see before, those dirty Kemet's, those dirty Muslims, those evil Christians. I don't want nothing to do with them because they all gonna get fried up anyway. So they can't roll with me. We're not on the same page. Matter of fact, they might curse whatever I'm trying to do. Whatever I'm trying to do, God might be mad with me for even dealing with these people. That's another. See, that's the thing about the difference in the religion and remember what I was saying before. Like a lot of these religious leaders, they're telling their don't deal with such and such. So you can't work together. You see what I'm saying? So it's like we can't come together because of that kind of stuff. Well, you're not supposed to deal with those people at all because of this and that. And you're supposed to just stay right here. And this is our little club. This is our little clique, our little Bible group. Everybody else is full of hell and don't deal with them and they're wicked. We got the right thing up in here, you know. And if you try to leave, then you're wicked. And that's you're going off to follow Satan if you try to leave this group. Like a person to let a grown man tell me where I can and can't go, what I can and can't do. I'm just not built like that. I mean, especially when you look at a lot of these leaders, they're telling their followers that, but they themselves broke off from somewhere. So it's like, well, you used to be under such and such. What about you? I mean, and that's another thing is accountability with the leadership. Religious leaders want you to look at them as an example and you're supposed to follow them. Whereas I think a real leader should be should stress how we all can be our own ourselves, where we don't need to follow some religious leader. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do we empower ourselves? That's kind of my tip now. Israel, John, do you believe in God? I mean, do you truly living God? Um, I don't deal. I don't look at the concept of God as the Bible presents it in a story form anymore. So no, I think I believe in a creator, but I don't. I don't myself. I don't feel that I can confirm that some of the things in the Bible, as far as the stories, are literal anymore. That's where I'm at. Not telling y'all what to do. I'm just saying where I'm at. Called Hebrew Israelite. No. Um, I can't prove that. I can't confirm that. No. Again, in my next video, and I didn't want to get too much in this, I'm going to deal with Moses and the Exodus because, the whole story of Moses, the Exodus, getting into the commandments and all that. I'm going to deal with that. Like, if that's all based on other myths, then you say it's literal. I mean, that's just me. I don't. So the whole concept of our people being led out somewhere and out of Egypt and becoming a 12 tribe nation that was striving for so many years as a kingdom and whatnot. I can't prove that those stories is historical. So I would have to say no to that. So I don't claim that I'm an Israelite, but a lot of the concepts, as far as being God's people, I still look at it like we should still look at ourselves as empowered in the same way by the Creator. You know, but no, I don't go by the stories anymore. Let's say right now, how could the movement ended? What do we follow for a guarantee? That's a good question. Oh man, if the movement ended, what do we follow for guaranteed empowerment? That's a good man. See, that's the whole thing, man. Like that's what we trying to find. Well, I am. That's what works. That's the whole thing. What works? Um, I'm gonna just say this: we deal with the Bible as Black people. Let's just be real. The reason why we're dealing with it is because we were told by our slave masters to deal with it or die. We didn't have anybody. When we were born, we didn't come with little Bibles strapped to our ankles, and we didn't have a big hand come out the sky with a Bible saying, "Read thus what I've said." We and a lot of us haven't done a thorough background check on the book. We were told to deal with it or else, and that's why we deal with the Bible. So our religion is based on something that was imposed upon us. So I think one of the things I like looking at, like Murdoch. Yes, I like DM Murdoch. Yeah. Um, One of the questions I ask is, what were we doing before we swallowed that book? Was it something that was beneficial, or was it something that was killing us? We were doing something before we started saying, "Oh, let's go follow Jesus." You know, before the slave days. So I know that there's been a lot of powerful rebellions that happen. Believe that some of our biggest gains or biggest successes, rebellions in which our people were using spiritual means. They were using ancestral religion and things like that, African stuff, African religion, ancestral, what people call magic, things like that. For example, I remember reading about Toussaint Overture, and there was times where the the enemy if they were escaping, the whole island, trying to get off, and trying to actually escape the people they're trying to conquer. And they had the guns and they had the armies and stuff. And it was all because, there was something that they to as far as what they knew about nature and things like that or whatever. There was a connection that we've lost. Um, maybe that's some place to start. You know what I'm saying? What were we doing when we before we were in this state and we ended up in slavery without the book? We rose from the ashes of slavery using the book. Um, Rose from the ashes of slavery using the book. Um, I don't think we're where we should be right now. I mean, right now, nothing is ours. Everything, I mean, as a people, our very existence relies on another people. And I don't think we should be like that. Else relies on themselves. If they want food, if they want whatever, they rely on themselves. We're the only people that don't do that over here. We're in a good state. I don't think we've rose to. I mean, we're not in chains. If that's what I mean, I guess we can say that. But a lot of people, when you say rise, I think a lot of black people are in decent situations, whether they're Israelite or not. So again, I can't attribute any successes that black people are having right now to whether they're dealing with the God of Israel. I really can't do that. But it's not the book itself, it's the view of the book that's polluted. The view of the book that's polluted. Um, yeah, I think there's good things in the Bible. Um, I think there's good things in other books too. I don't know that any religious book is infallible. I think that they're just guides. You know, I think some things in it might be good or whatever, and I think some things, you know, people might have took it upon themselves to, put in certain things or whatever. But I think about religion, I don't know that we can. Me, I can't. I'm not going to put 100% faith into a religious book in which I don't know who wrote it. I wasn't there when it was wrote. You understand what I'm saying? Like that's just me. Like, and I see what it's done. In the When you look at how long people have been Israelites, if you go 40, 50 years back, or even if you go 100 something years back with what's his name, William Crawley, I think his name was, you know, is and then you had the black Jews before that. I mean, I don't see that. I don't know that the Israelite thing has helped us. I don't see how we've gotten these great. This is just because we've been dealing with being an Israelite. I don't see a difference. That's all. That's me. Answer my question. Columbus Hebrew. Let me see. Oh, Haitians were using the Quran. Let me see. Haitians. Um, There's evidence of us dealing with biblical concepts before contact with the Caucasians. So, what are you talking about? Yeah, I don't know about that. Born an outlaw. That's something I don't know. Um, Jay says we need spirituality, not religion. Yeah, I agree with that. Well, I mean, I agree with that, but I don't think religion. You know, if people want to do certain religious practices or whatever, that's cool. Just that's just kind of a private thing or whatever. Just don't isolate your brothers because of it. That's what I say. I mean, you can have both. As long as we're still on that same page, trying to get to that same goal, like we were talking about. What was I saying? You're right. It hasn't helped. Yeah, answer my question. I didn't see Columbus's question. Let me see why the nations helped deceive the world by putting the fake Israel in the land in 1948. If everything is false about us being Israelites, Europeans, they have their Israelites though. They got their Jews, and that's who they say they want the world to think they're the Jews, and everything is following biblical prophecy. Their plan. They're using religion. The power structure is using religion. It's beneficial for them to control people. Religion is a good tool to control people. You know, and not been for religion, they wouldn't have been able to set up that nation in Israel. You see what I'm saying? That's how they got away with it because of religion. And they could have did that with any other religion because the people don't think it's fake. It could be fake, but the people think it's real. So let's use that to our advantage and get power and money. That's how people been doing us and doing the whole planet. While they know while they keep some of the things that they consider real to themselves or secret. Nationality is what we need because it connects us to the land and culture. Nationality. I think that's important. Nationality is important. Being connected to your culture and where you're from. I think that's important. I think that's one of the things that can help, build a bridge to what we were talking about earlier. Like, however, we were connected spiritually in the past, that could be one of those bridges how to get there. Everything in the Old Testament happened in the Americas. Um, I can't prove that. See, these camps make you ask questions like if those Jews are fake. It's a movement filled with conspiracy theories and weirdos. Yeah, the real Jews follow Judaism. Of course, they're real Jews. They follow Judaism. I don't know if that's a question or someone saying nationality is fallacy. It diminishes individualism and stifles critical thought. I don't think it has to. I think it can be used that way. But I don't think it's I don't think nationality is a fallacy. I just you deal with it. You know, like your nationality might be identify with your individualism. Let's see. But let me know if anybody wants to get on or whatever. I can see about finding the link or I would not. Tribalism is necessary for families to be the center of society. Nationality is not tribalism. Oh, okay. I don't know. That's a good discussion. I got to think about all that. I think both is important, but that's a good discussion, though. Okay, Renyin 77 says, without families being supreme, we fall into the need for government. Yeah, and government leads to tyranny. It seems like that's the way it's been going throughout history. I can say that. And that is the purpose of the law. Hmm. Oh, I didn't see your question. Um, is it that hard? Let me see what the question was. Do you believe in God? Oh, I did answer that. The concept of God in the Bible is based on stories that I'm telling you. I don't deal with those in a literal sense anymore. So I can't say that I look at God as the God of the story of the Israelites in the way that you may. I was saying, no, I don't believe in the Creator in that way anymore. Does that make sense? But I do think we're both dealing with the same Creator, though. Do I believe in evolution now? Depends on what you mean. I don't believe in that whole thing about a gradual evolution where something comes from something else over years and years. No, I don't believe in that. No. Um, do I believe that we were created through some type of evolution process? Maybe. No, I don't believe Darwinism. No. So, what you guys think? Historical, biblical, genetic evidence that ties us to the Shemitic Hebrew people. Yeah, I don't know too much about that because the thing is with that, with me, I don't, I'm not an expert on genetics and all that, but my whole thing would be, what's your source to tie your genes to? Like, did someone? I mean, that's the whole thing with me. Like, how do you define what that source is that you're using to tie that info to? You know what I'm saying? That's kind of where I'm a little bit like, I don't know about all that. Put the link in the chat. Okay. All right. There's the link. That's fallacy. There's not a genetic evidence that links anyone to the biblical characters. Renyin 77 says. Yeah, that's what I say. I mean, how would we even know? I mean, see, that's the thing, man. Like, how do you know you have? I mean, how did you find his genetic makeup to be able to match it to in the first place? That's the whole thing with me. Like, where did they get that? See, and the ones doing that, you know, the Most High gives us a better way to determine who His people are, and that's using the curses of Deuteronomy 28. Um, you got other writings that match up with that, so I don't know that. With me, I don't look at that as something that can be confirmed. That, see, like I just told you, from my aspect, like where I'm coming from, I don't look at there was a Moses that talked to God and got the laws and all that as literal. So therefore, I can't, I'm not going to say that what you read in Deuteronomy 28 is absolutely God's word. I can't stand on that literally myself anymore. Let's see, did it work? Did that link work? I remember I tried that before and nothing happened. Oh, no, I wasn't talking about that. I was just saying where I'm coming from. Yeah, that's not what I'm dealing with. Like, I dealt with the in Bible, in my first Bible myth video, I deal with that at the end of the video. It's called the Treaty of Asardon, Vassal Treaties of Asardon. It's Assyrian. Oh, okay, okay. So we got somebody coming in. Okay. The link isn't working. Uh-oh. Okay. Let me see if I can do it another way. I can do it by email if you put your email. All right. Give me 1 second. All right, I sent that one. Anybody else trying to get on, just put your email. I can send a link that way. I don't know why it's not working in the chat. I know Jay was saying that. Okay. Well, it's older than some parts of the Old Testament. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, anything working? I'm glad this mic is actually working this time for a change. Okay, who's that? Let's see. Oh, what's up, Jay?
What's going on?
Hey, what's up?
Peace. Can
Oh,
you hear me
nothing.
okay?
Peace. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm using my phone and my laptop at the same time, but I'm going to like disconnect my phone real quick and I'll use my laptop. Give me 1 second.
Oh, okay.
All right. Okay.
But yeah, one thing I do like is how, like right now, you do have some, like in this case, what we're doing, like people can still talk about stuff where even though there's differences, it seems to me like people got a common goal or whatever in mind. Hey, what's up?
Hello?
Hey,
Peace. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you say your name?
Ovadia?
Say that again.
Ovadia.
Oh, Ovadia. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, like, as far as the topic that you were dealing with, the title of the show,
Mhm.
I don't think it needs to end, but I think it needs to probably either be kind of reset and, started anew, because in its current form right now, there's nothing for us in it in its current form, because it's just fractured into a million pieces, and I mean a million camps. Nobody can get anything done, And if you come to the community with some new
I think
information
you're
or something
breaking up.
hello,
I think you're good now. Okay.
yeah. So what it is when you come into the community sometimes with new information, a lot of times you're shunned. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so many different schools of thought that's within it. It's not one thing anymore to where everybody's just following the same thing. Because a lot of the original doctrines, they were lies. And now were they lies intending on deceiving people? We don't know that, but we do know that it wasn't, 100% fact, everything that was taught. So in its current form right
Right.
now, with the lack of truth in it, the lack of morality in it, I don't think that it can progress any further than what it can. I think it's actually kind of coming back down, and it's going to actually hurt us more than it can help us at this stage. What's your thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah, I think like the main thing you said, we said morals. Like that's a big thing. Like I think if we have a moral structure, then we can go somewhere, man. Like the whole difference between ritual and moral is a problem, I believe. I look at that as a problem, man, because when you say morals, some of that stuff is just, we already know that anyway. I mean, it's sort of like, we know not to take somebody's wife. We know not to, all these different things as far as lying and stealing and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that goes without saying in a lot of beliefs. So it's like,
Right.
it seems like if that was the focus, then a lot of the ritual stuff wouldn't be such a problem like it is. Like you mentioned a lot of things, and in a lot of doctrine too. Let me say doctrine. Doctrinal, like you said, some things may be true, may not be true, and people fight over that. And it's sort of like we've let that supersede the morality. Like that's not morals, that's doctrine. You know what I'm saying? Like the stuff that's moral doctrine, I mean, that goes without saying. I mean, we should know that anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like
Facts.
that's not even something to argue about, the moral stuff. But that tends to
Facts.
be on the back burner, and we need to switch that around. That's what I think.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's go ahead, brother. If you were saying something.
Oh, no. Go ahead, bro. I'm listening. Go ahead.
Yeah, like you're right. It is a morality thing because I think the biggest problem why there's such a gap in the morality from this person to that person is this: when you're dealing over the internet with other people, a lot of times I got an echo. Yeah, a lot of times what it is people are willing to disrespect you and say certain things and treat you a certain way because they don't have to deal with you every day. You may not live in a city to where, you can run up on them and possibly have to pass this person in the streets. So that's why it's a lot of disrespect in the movement. You see what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, like, I don't know where you're from. You know what I'm saying? And I don't see you on a day to day. So if I don't believe in something you believe in, I can just disrespect you, make exposing videos about you, clown you, do all this kind of stuff. You can do this stuff to people. You see what I'm saying? And that's not it. That's a low morality because you don't have to see me every day. If I had to walk past you at the train station or getting on the bus, I wouldn't be doing that to you because I know that I have to see you. You see what I'm saying?
You know what else too? Yep, and you know what else too? That gives opportunity to the enemy. You see what I'm saying? The enemy can see that and use that to further divide us too. Oh, them cats don't like them cats. Let's go ahead and make it worse for them. You see what I'm saying? So that makes it even, now we got a new problem. Instigators and agents and all that kind of stuff.
That's true. But then again, like when you look at when it comes to morality, we have to look at it from a objective standpoint of view and not from a subjective standpoint of view. So, in my opinion, when you reincarnate into this this physical plane, you come with a attention. Well, not like attention, but you kind of already know. You kind of have like morality built into you, like what's wrong, what's right. You know it's wrong to kill. You know it's wrong to steal. You don't need
That's right.
you don't need like a book to tell you it's wrong. You know it's wrong to murder. You already know that. So
that's what I'm saying.
Well, see, let me
see, the
say
thing
this
is,
though. Let me just say this real quick about what the brother just said. You know what? In actuality, you don't need a book to tell you not to steal or rob or rape or do anything else. You don't need a book to do that. I think that's where a lot of people get it mixed up. Because before I came into this, I used to think the same thing. Because I'm like, I don't need no book to tell me what to do. Like, I know not to take this But the problem is, you don't need the book. But what you need the reinforcement that the book offers. Because the book says if you rape somebody, you're going to be put to death. You see what I'm saying? So when there's reinforcements and there's judgments that can be handed down and placed upon you, then you're more willing to exercise your morality, which was God given. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it just always sounded kind of funny to me when people say, "Well, I don't need the book to tell me this to tell me that." The book ain't telling you necessarily to be, morale, or moral person. What it's telling you is that if you don't be a moral person, these things can happen to you. So it's best that you be moral. No different than how we treat our children, how we raise our children. We do them the exact same way. You want to do you want something from the store, some candy? Okay, well, if you be bad in class, then I'm not going to give you this anymore. It's the same exact thing. So we got to be careful with saying that we don't need a book to do this or do that when we have the United States Constitution that's bigger than the Bible and adding statutes and amendments to it every single year. But we follow that book.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
That's
I see what
true.
you're saying.
I mean, I agree with that.
I feel that. I'll just say this about the whole, if you do, I think what you're saying, like the book gives you consequences. Like if you don't do the moral stuff, then this will happen to you. And I think that makes people feel more accountable. That's why I say it might be, there's benefits, to a religion or whatever. But the thing with that, I would just say, like, right now, in any Israelite movement or any Israelite church right now for being immoral. So it's sort of like you still have that leeway as if you didn't have the book because there's no one that's going to stone you. The law, punishments that we're dealing with right now are the government. We still are dealing with if you go to jail and if you get put in prison or the death penalty, those are the punishments we all think about. So it's sort of like either way, those type of things could still be in place without a book as well. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just a punishment.
But see, that goes back to what I was saying. I hear you, and I agree. But it goes back to what I was saying earlier, like when you first started, when I was saying, like, how can you build with people when your end goal is different? I don't follow the New Testament. I deal with something totally different. You know what I'm saying? So, their end goal is, I'm gonna wait for JC to come, and he's gonna come with 1,000 angels and gonna destroy the white man and all this other kind of foolishness. I'm not dealing with that. You see what I'm saying? I understand that the Most High gave me a mind, body, and a spirit to be able to do for self. You see what I'm saying? So it's hard to build with somebody who wants to wait and wait and wait. I'm not trying to wait. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Like we have a Messiah complex, and what it does is it takes a brother like you who you come off as sincere, and it drives you away. When actuality, we need more brothers like you to come and actually build something. And that's why I also I say, look, man, we can't build with everybody. Some people we're just gonna have to leave behind. And in order to have our own, we're gonna have to cut some fat and trim some fat. You know what I'm saying? Because me personally, I'm about repatriation. I'm about going back to Africa. Now, will I keep my citizenship here and all that good stuff? Yeah, absolutely. But am I going to throw away Africa? No, I'm not willing to do that. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I mean, okay, for me, I come from more of the indigenous background. I believe that most of us are already here. I don't believe in the slave ship, like concept. And I think that's really what binds most Israelites together is that. But when you come across like Moorish information or other like indigenous information, you realize that there is no slave trade and that there was never like a slave trade. Then you realize that you are the real Americans and not the fake natives of today. That's the way I look at it. I mean, I'm not against Africa by any means, but for me, and who think like me, we're indigenous all day, every day. You know what I'm saying?
So, are you saying that you don't believe that there was ever a slave trade?
Okay, my thing is this: when it comes to the slave trade, it happened here. So some of us got shipped to different parts of Europe, but the vast majority of us were already here. It's just it's like information that you have to look into, and you would have to go into like the Moorish type of paradigm. You know what I'm saying? If you understand like the Moors and Spain and all that, ruling Europe, 7-Eleven.
Yeah, but that's just kind of weird. So you mean to tell me all of the slave dungeons on the west coast of Africa that were built, they were just built for no reason?
No, no. What I'm saying is, okay, when we look at the so-called American slave narratives of how it happened, you have to understand back in the 15 and 1600s, it would take them years to build these ships. Then, like when you look at the ships, you're talking about people being packed with like sardines. You're talking about like maybe 500-600 people. Okay, all of them have to use the bathroom. So who would and all that stuff is like toxic. So who would be able to like clean that up? How would they sell the like the seven seas and all that? It's just a lot. It's just I have a video of it on my channel that you can check it out. But that's just that's my whole thing. I'm not for the whole back to Africa. Like this is my land. Yeah,
So
I view the Europeans as foreigners. That's just me. I don't hate them, but I view them as foreigners.
so what you're saying
You
is
get what I'm
because
saying?
you, well, I hear you, but what you're saying is because you think it was too hard to do with the whole bunch of people and it taking long to build ships. Because you think it take a long time to do, you're saying it's not possible.
It's not possible. No, no. I mean, like I said before, I could probably like email you videos that I've done about it, and just check it out. I mean, we're actually growing. I mean, I just recently have come into that knowledge, but it all makes sense though. When you come from that indigenous paradigm, it makes a lot of sense. That's just the way I see it.
All right.
Yeah,
So
my
if we
thing is like,
Mm.
go ahead, no, go ahead, no, go ahead, go ahead.
oh, I
No,
was
I
just
mean,
gonna say, me personally. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, I mean, when you have okay, so it's just like you have so many channels out there from like Marvin Coleman, you got Lex Will, you have AB Original. You have so many channels out there kicking this indigenous knowledge out there that it's really to me it seems like it's the truth. To me it does. I just as you continue to look into it, hopefully you come to the same conclusion. But that's just me. Like right now, that's where I'm at. That's the.
I think that everything, should be looked into. I'm not against looking into different things or whatever. Where I'm at right now is, I've studied our history since I was a kid, and
Mm,
I don't particularly agree with the idea that, and see this. Oh, and by the way, this is something that it's kind of like he said, it's kind of picking up steam now, and this type
mm,
of teaching is kind of spreading. What it is, he's saying that the slavery was in reverse, where
yes.
slavery was not where people were taken from Africa, but they were taken from America to Africa. And my thing, and they get that from where there were some slaves that were, well, I think they were free actually, but there were some of us that were taken back at one time. But
Mm,
see, the thing with me, I've done too much. I don't. I'm not at a place where I can throw out the African slave trade because I've done
mm,
too much research on that since I was a kid. Where the slaves themselves identify with coming over here from Africa on boats,
mm,
and I don't see. And I'm not, like I said, we probably should look into a lot of different things, and I need to look more into what you're talking about for sure. But right now, I don't know that the slaves were saying. Um, we're from here and not from Africa. I see that the slaves were saying where they're from. Their own,
right.
that's what they taught our ancestors. They taught them this is where we're from, and you have a lot of cultural connections to Africa. Like, you know, they shouldn't know nothing about Africa or have any type of connection to Africa if we're not from there.
Mm.
And then you got the ships and stuff like that. And you got Africans saying they sent us over here. So, I mean, you know, it's too much for
exactly. That's
me
my
right
big thing.
now to be like, it didn't happen like that.
But when you break down the definition of American, it says copper colored, you know, ranging from light
Well,
to
yeah.
dark.
Well, let me say this. Yeah, I'm gonna say this. Definitely, I believe there were blacks here that are indigenous for sure. There's some, for sure, there's black indigenous people, and there could be some of us that are indigenous for sure. All I'm saying is I'm not where I can throw out the African slave trade because
I
of
feel
that
you.
yet. That's all I'm saying. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
So
want to
hold on,
learn.
let me
I
get
actually
this
want to
correct.
learn more about the indigenous, you know, because that's something that has kind of been hidden. Is that part of the story that there were people here that, you know, were African looking and not like you know, Pocahontas in them. So yeah, they, you know,
Right.
and that's something that's not told, and that part has kind of been hidden for sure.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask this question because you know I've briefly looked into the indigenous thing that we were already here, and you know there was no slave trade. Now that always it was so weird and far out to me that once I started hearing the doctrine, I was just like, oh, this is bugged out. I can't do no more. You know, because my thing is this: we have like the brother just said, we have Africans saying that they sold us and apologizing for sending us into slavery. Then we also have Abraham Lincoln saying that he wanted to get rid of us and send us back where we came from, but we're so mixed up that we don't know where to go. You see what I'm saying?
And
So
Frederick
we have
Douglass too. Frederick Douglass was a slave. Thought that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
So my question is, how did you get this thing where the slaves were, well, excuse me, black Africans were already here, but then were being sent to Africa? Like, that's weird to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you have all of these pieces of evidence, but you have no evidence whatsoever to say that we were already here? You know what I'm saying? So, like, what happened to all the Mexicans and the Indians and all of those? You know, what happened to them?
Are you talking about the like the Mexicans that classify as European? Or are you talking about like the indigenous, like
I'm talking
Aboriginal
about
Mexicans?
I'm talking about the Indians.
The Indians.
The Indians. Because, you know, when you start playing with words, it kind of switches it up. Aboriginal, the ones that classify as European. We know now. Let's take a Puerto Rican. We know a white Puerto Rican and a black Puerto Rican when we see one, and we know when that's Taino. We know that.
Right.
So that's why I don't even like to play with words like that. When I say a Mexican, I'm talking about Indian. You see what I'm saying? An Aztec. So these Indians, what happened to them? Not the black ones, not the one that identifies white, not the one that slept and married into the family. No, the Indian. Them. You see what I'm saying? What happened to them? Where did they go? Because if we look in history, we see that they got pushed over west. They got pushed and pushed and pushed. You see what I'm saying? We don't like. I don't see how y'all get that. I would listen to it and hear it out, but my first contact with it, it was just so weird that I was just like, okay, I can't do any more of it.
Yeah,
it just didn't make sense.
Yeah, like I say, like I said, I just came into this not too long ago, about like probably 5-6 months ago. I came into it, and I'm still doing research. But that's just me. But if you want, like, you want to learn more about it, there's tons of channels out there, and I have a video on my channel about us being like the real Indians. It's got like over 23,000 views. No, it's like I think like 31,000 views now. This is the good bit of views I have. But I could I'll send it to you guys and you can check it out and stuff.
Yeah, I'll check it out. You know what I'm saying? Because I tell you this now. You know, I was in Christianity. You know, and then I was an Israelite who was believing in JC. You know what I'm saying? For a while. So I don't approach stuff and just throw it in the trash immediately. You see what I'm saying? I'm not at that stage in my life, so I just throw stuff in the trash because it doesn't sound right. You know what I'm saying? I comb over things more. You see what I'm saying? Now when I listen to that indigenous thing, that was about 3-4 years ago or whatever, and I was like, that's crazy. But now I'm at the level to where I was lied to for so long about certain things that now I'm willing to at least listen and give an ear and ask questions about things, versus just following something blindly, so I'm not into that no more. So I'll check the information out and I'll take a look at it, and if there's truth to it, there's truth to it. Why throw away the truth to hold on to your own doctrine? I'm not with that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree.
But back to the actual topic. What's y'all thoughts on that, man? Because I don't think that the movement can actually do anything right now. I think the hate that's inside of it. I think the distrust that brothers have for each other. The way certain camps and churches, treat the women and the doctrines. If anything, it needs to be tore down and rebuilt back up.
Yep.
And if you don't want to do that, then there's just gonna have to be a separation.
That's true.
And people have been trying to bring. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, not cut you off. It's almost like what's going on with the conscious community. How it's slowly but surely falling apart. And like I said before, I think that we need actual new quote unquote black leaders. I think we need new black leaders. It's time for a different type of leadership, in my opinion. That's just how I feel. I feel like it needs to be like men and women who actually care about the people and not people care about making money and all this and the third. And you got a lot of camps out here that have messed things up for people as well. The camps are very cultic. So.
Yep. Yeah, I would just say, I'm with you guys because it's like, it's holding us back because, like how the three of us are in here, like, this kind of stuff should always happen. But, because of a lot of these barriers, just like what we were talking about, like, what if I was like, you're indigenous, so I can't roll with you and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that kind of stuff. And I think, in my experience, a lot of people, in the camps, I hate to say it, but most of the people that I've dealt with did not have a uniting spirit that called themselves Israelite. Most of them had a divisive, cold spirit. I'm just being real with you. I'm not trying to. I'm just saying, in my experience, it wasn't something that they were more righteous or spiritual than, let's say, Christians or anybody else. You understand? You understand what I'm saying? Matter of fact, sometimes it's worse. Like in some case, sometimes I'd be feeling like, you ever see that movie Don't Be a Menace? When Marlon, when he was in, not Marlon, but Sean, when he was in jail with Farrakhan, and he saw the cop, he was like, boy, am I glad to see you, man. He was so happy to see the cop once he spent some time with him. Sometimes it felt like that. Like, it's like, Christians sometimes like, dang, man, like, I mean, they make you like that. It's like you get tired. Like, dang, man, I could have stayed with the Christians, man.
Yeah, but I mean,
like, you know what it is, though?
Drama.
That's what it is, though. It's the evil. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm not gonna say evil, not evil, but the wickedness. You know what I'm saying? It's the wickedness, the deceit. The rudeness, the attitudes. It's not uniting, like the brother said. But at least when you're dealing with Christians, they're gonna be loving. They may cheat you and rob you behind your back, but at least it's it's gonna be loving. Their nature is more friendlier. You know, I get
Hey,
that, and you know,
yeah. When was the last time you seen Christians attacking each other online?
you don't, man. You don't.
You
See what
don't.
I'm
We
saying? When
don't.
was the last time we seen that?
You don't, man.
You really don't.
Wow.
They're just fine with each other as long as they go in on their Sundays and pay their tithes. They go about their business, man. The only problem is they're not thinking about our people as a whole, and you know
Right.
they just mentality like, well, I'm supposed to go to work and get a paycheck, and that's all I'm supposed to
Yeah.
do, and wait on Jesus.
Yeah, they are sheep.
But we
Don't get
got
me
to do
wrong.
better
They
than
are
that,
sheep.
man.
Yeah, they are sheep, and you know, a lot of times what we do is we're battling to show the information that we have versus to try to put our information to the test. You know, a lot of times we're concerned with being right with the information we have versus saying, okay, well, let's put it up, put it to the test, see if it stands up, and if it doesn't, then I'll follow what you got going on, or mix it up a little bit and incorporate what you have. You see what I'm saying? But we don't do that. We're so narcissistic, and it stagnates us. It really does
Hmm.
stagnate us, and you know, then you have the exposing videos, and I seen a video the other day. The brother said you can't put your fingers a certain way because it makes it look like some kind of Illuminati stuff. I'm like, yo, like that's crazy. Like I'm just a Negro from the hood. Like I don't know, you know, I'm not in no Illuminati. You know, I'm making YouTube videos. Like
And
so,
yeah, you know, it's
it's getting
even.
out of
I'm
hand.
gonna say something else too about that too. Yeah, yeah. But you know what? Even beyond that, like, say they are in masonry, right?
Uh-huh.
I mean, okay, they're human beings. We can't be. See, I think fear is another thing. Oh,
Yep.
Illuminati. I think the power,
Yep.
half the power of these people come from our fear. Like
Uh-huh.
if we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, it shouldn't matter who is what. They won't be able to penetrate nothing if we're doing the right thing. It shouldn't matter. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, okay, put your signs up. So what? You know, that's the way I
Yeah,
look
but
at it now. Because it's sort of like some people join fraternities and they do those hand signs, and they're not really Masons per se. They're just part of a fraternity or whatever.
Exactly. But
Same stuff, and they just wanted to join a club or whatever. It don't mean that they're evil and stuff.
exactly.
Again, that's that divisive stuff and that fear. Oh, well, they're of the devil and blah blah blah, and I'm not, and all this stuff, and I don't need to deal with them. I mean, you know, if they trying to help,
let them help.
I don't think we need to even with that. It's what they're doing. Are they trying to bring chaos? That's the thing. What are they doing? If they're agents, they'll be bringing chaos and stuff, and you can tell by what they're doing if you need to cut them off.
That's true. I mean, I think with the whole conspiracy thing, it's just that. It's just it's a lot of fear. With the whole Masons and all that stuff. The elite. They use this stuff against us. This stuff is originally like for us. If you look at it from an aspect of nature, so we look at water. Water can be used to you can drink with it, or it can drown you. Fire can be used to warm your home, or it can burn your home down. It's all about your intent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, like a gun, you know,
Yeah,
it could be used to defend yourself or it could be used to do harm. Yeah,
exactly.
and you know what? That's exactly, you know, what this movement is turned into. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I think that it's turned into because a lot of what you have a lot too is like conspiracy nuts. You know, all these conspiracy theories. Every time you turn around, you know, they're breaking down every movie, every
Yeah.
comic Marvel movie. You know, the Black Panther got something to do with an Israelite. It's like, man, give it a break, man. Let's just do what we need to do to get ourselves out of the situation. I get tired of
Right, right.
looking in signs. You're looking into signs of movies from Hollywood, which you claim is the devil, and it's like, come on, man, like it's just a lot of foolishness. You know, like they'll take any. You know, what's so funny is like they'll take the popular movies and break those down, but they're not going to take a movie, you know, that sold $1 million that nobody wanted to watch and break that down You know what I'm saying? So
Right. I
it's just a
think
lot
it's
of
fun. I
like,
think it's kind of fun. Like I think it's kind of like it's interesting. Like some of that information is like, oh wow, okay, but that's all it is. It's just like, okay, that's all I'm supposed to take from this is
Yep.
okay, they're doing this sign or symbol. But I think that when we start taking it like you saying, where oh well, we need to be afraid or we need to you shouldn't have a feeling. It's just it's we shouldn't have any bad feelings toward it. Like it's something that we should it's just information, you know what I'm saying? Like I
Yep.
think we still have to keep our mind focused on the goal or whatever, but once we start using it like with movies, I mean, movies tell us a lot of truth. I mean, they might put symbols and signs or whatever in it, but I mean, what does that really have to do with what we have to do? I mean, it's cool. It's kind of fun to be able to, like this one guy I like he likes to dig into that. I think it's kind of fun to dig into stuff sometimes. But
Yeah.
if
Thank you,
you make
Dr.
that
Gray.
the mission, if you make that the mission, that's where you get in trouble. If that's the mission, just to find out what the enemy's doing,
Yeah. Yeah, because KT, he makes it really good. I like KT, Dr. Gray. He's
Yeah, I
a
like
cool
KT.
guy.
I just found out about him the
Yeah.
other day, man. I've been
Yeah.
watching some. I like his stuff.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know what? I'll be honest, ain't gonna lie. I kind of had that brother in mind when I said that because I think because
I
you
can
know
tell.
what, ain't we gonna lie, but there's other brothers that do it too, but like he's kind of the main one. And not to knock the brother, I don't got any hate or disdain for the brother, not whatsoever. That's his lane. He stay in his lane, but it was like 2 years ago, and like the brother did a video, and I just started noticing like, oh, this brother break down is like comic books and stuff, and I'm just like, if you got a fetish or not a fetish, but if you got a love for comic books and that's your thing, then that's your thing. You know what I'm saying? But don't try to push it like it's something what it's not. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, I just feel like it's being
I'm
marketed a
with you.
different way. If that's what you
Yeah, I'm
like, that's
with you.
what you
Like I
like.
like comic books. That's why I like that. I like that kind of stuff because
Same.
I'm a
Same.
comic book geek. I'm a comic book
Yes.
geek, so I like that kind of stuff. But I use it. But it's sort of like I keep it in its right place, like it's
Yep.
information. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yep.
not like a religious doctrine where I think
Yep.
the guy is giving me something where that to be close to God, and those type of things. It's just information. Like I like his stuff about. I need to watch more of his. Like I want to get more into the holistic using plants and how to use nature and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Like I love
yeah.
that kind of stuff, man.
See, that stuff is useful. Like that stuff is
Yeah.
useful.
That's
So I'm
what I'm
not saying
saying.
that. I'm not saying that you can't like if you want to go to YouTube and make a gaming channel. I'm not saying you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not robots. We're still people at the end of the day. But when you try to mix that into like consciousness, like I just get kind of I get thrown off because I know the real reason is you really like comic books. You know what I'm saying? So we know it. And I'm not being disrespectful, shout out to the brother. But it's like, come on, man. If I really like cars and stuff like that, I'm not gonna say, oh man, we gotta watch out for Ford because they got this new twin turbo engine and made out of babies. It's you know what I'm saying? So it's like we gotta.
It depends on your audience. Yeah,
Yeah, it does.
depends on your audience. Like he even says that what he's trying to do is reach the young people that's what they deal with. Like they're not dealing with and stuff, and they're not dealing with history and archaeology. They're dealing with TV and movies. So he's trying to reach those
Yeah.
people. So that's what he's trying to do. Like with me, the reason why it kind of, like I said, I'm into that. So that's why it kind of like is neat to me because it's like,
Same
oh,
here.
cool. Like I didn't know that. But like, yeah, for somebody that's not into that and that is into other high spiritual stuff, yeah, maybe you might not get get a like an
anything out
attraction
of
to
it.
what he's
Yeah,
yeah, like
you
you
know.
it might not hook you like that.
Yeah, that's really what it is. So is that I'm not into that, and it just when my first impression of it felt like it was being masked. You know what I'm saying? Like it was being masked by comic books. And what the deeper intention of it was that I have a love for comic books, so I'm searching through all these comics and comic movies and stuff to try to connect them back to Kemet. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it kind of looked to me. And, so I was just like, nah, I don't think I can rock with that. But, good luck to the brother. You know what I'm saying? That's just kind of how I take it. But, you have people who do that, but then you have people that'll go into movies and see a person wave their hand a certain way and be like, see, that's the 666, or what do you call it, the Baphomet and all this whole other kind of stuff. Like, I just think we need to do away with that kind of stuff, man, and just focus in.
But then I realized that like 666 is like carbon 666. You know, it's.
You breaking up? You breaking up, bro?
Oh no! What I was saying is like 666 is more of like the carbon. Six protons, six neutrons, and all that. You know what I'm saying? It's it's us. It's
It's
not.
information.
Yeah,
like I said, it's
that's
for
what I'm
like
saying.
if you take it for what it is, if you just take it for information,
Right.
if you're not taking it like, well, I have to warn people this movie because they did this hand sign. I'm going to warn everybody not to look at this movie. I mean, I think that's where what you're talking about. Like, we don't have to do all that, but it's just interesting information. That's how I take it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but see, interesting information is one thing, but when you're trying to push it to go along with your doctrine, that's where I have a problem with. You know what I'm saying? It's like that stuff. Okay, you have certain sections and spheres, or places in where things go. The shoes go with the shoes, the shirts go with the shirts, the pants go with the pants. You have that organization in every part of your life and everything that you deal with. So if you're dealing with spirituality, don't mix in the conspiracy theories with the spirituality in the religious section, because it kind of taints it and makes it look weird. If you were to type in right now, Hebrew Israelites, you find some of the most destructive videos that'll make you turn away from it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's because of a lot of the things that's on the periphery that's causing it to look a certain way. You know what I'm saying? So that's what, it just needs to be, a lot of the stuff just needs to be extracted from the community and separated. But that's hard to do when you got people who can just put up whatever they want to put up and start their own groups and teach whatever they want to teach, and people will follow. So,
But
I think it needs to be reorganized. I think it should just be recategorized. Like, this is okay for this, but like for example, when we were talking about KT, I remember one of his videos, a lot of stuff that he was pulling out of the movies. Like, I remember he was sitting with Netter, already familiar with a lot of the Egyptian information that he was talking about. And I think that what you're talking about is like more important, like the information itself, before you start trying to, like, I think if we were familiar with a lot of things he's pulling out of the movies first, sense in your case, you know what I'm saying? Like what is like what's the source of the information rather than pulling it out of a movie? I think that's what you're getting at, right?
Well, not necessarily. I'm looking at what's the importance of it. Because if it's like you said, it needs to be reorganized. So if it's in this section of consciousness and trying to build and move forward as a people to do better for ourselves, what reason should that be here in this section here? Why should we put that here when it doesn't have? And that's just to me. Maybe I'm wrong. I would like your opinion on it, but it doesn't have any. How can I say? It doesn't have any real.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I think it's like he's talking about scientific stuff. He's talking about science, like science. A lot of stuff, like if you have, like if you want to heal yourself or something, I think that stuff is important from that aspect. Like, if we really knew all the stuff that he's alluding to, like I can't even start to even get into all that. Like, but I want to learn I want to know everything, man. Like, I want to know more about, because that's another thing that is not in the Bible is things that we do like when you go to the doctor, plant mixed with this thing together work. Like, why does this affect my body this way? Why does my body work this way? Is not really in the Bible. So it's like, to me, that stuff is important. That's one of those things that I think that we do need to kind of bring back a little more to the forefront than what we've been doing, man, because that stuff is powerful too.
Yeah. And then,
but go ahead, brother.
Yeah, but back to the whole plant stuff. It even goes back to like Genesis 1 when the Creator gave Adam and Eve a vegetarian vegan diet to eat. So back then it was health and wealth. You know what I'm saying? You had to take know what I'm saying with the whole vegetarian.
Say, I think you breaking up a little bit. Say that again.
What I was saying is like it all goes back with Genesis with Adam and Eve when the Creator gave them plants to eat as their food. So if you begin to eat like a healthy vegan vegetarian diet, you'll better understand how certain things work versus eating like a meat based diet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think there's definitely something to that. Like I've been thinking about that and looking at that too. Like I don't even know. I mean, we probably weren't even supposed to eat meat. I don't know. Like I don't. A lot of stuff I don't really know for sure. Like I once did. You know what I'm saying? Like, is our bodies even made to do that? Like maybe we were supposed to just eat plants, like it alludes in Genesis. I mean, if we knew this kind of stuff for sure. Remember, I talked about what can be validated and
Yep.
what works. Like if we knew what works, like we could empower ourselves.
Yep.
Like there's a lot we don't know.
But I want to say this. When it comes to what we know as the Bible today, I think we put too much. Excuse me. I think we put too much into it. We look at it as if it's not what it is. It's not a science manual that you can just go and read and figure out, what this plant does or what this does when you mix it with that, or it's not that. Now, is there some of that in there? Yes. You know what I'm saying? It's not a history book to where you can just read about the history of this people that. Does it have some of that in there? Yes, but it's not that. And with the false doctrine that you get from, a lot of the camps and stuff like that, they tell you, oh, this is a history book, brother, it has everything in it. No, it doesn't have everything in it. but what it does have is it has everything that you need in it. You see what I'm saying? Now, it doesn't tell you how to build a house. It doesn't tell you how to build a spaceship and all this other stuff and how to build it. It doesn't tell you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at. Like the whole how. It does talk about people using medicines or whatever, but it don't tell you how. And that's what everyone else is making billions and billions of dollars and got all this power because they know how to deal with that kind of stuff, that kind of science and stuff. And it's like, what if we tapped into that? Because that's what our people used to do. We used to deal with that.
Yeah.
But see, you got to understand. Well, it's not because of the Bible that we can't do that. You see what I'm saying? It's because of our current state.
Yeah.
A lack of having things in our community. You know what I'm saying? A lack of fathers, a lack of stable-minded mothers. You see what I'm saying? A lack of education. That's why we're not progressing. It's not because of the Bible and why doesn't the Bible have this in there? Why doesn't it have that in there? And I want to say this one thing, and there's no disrespect to you. Now, when I first left, when I first got away from the New Testament and the Christianity and stuff like that, what I started finding myself doing was I found myself reading the New Testament more, trying to find all the contradictions in it. You know what I'm saying? And trying to rip it apart. So eventually, I got to the point. I said, I know that it's false. I know that some things in there are correct, but the overall premise of it is false. So I used to try to watch a lot of debates and stuff on JC and stuff like that. Because it made me feel good. But then I got to the point and I say, hold on, I know it's false. So why should I even care about it anymore? And you shouldn't go that same route to where you say, okay, well, now I'm kind of getting away from the Bible. Let me tear it down. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think you should go that route. And I wouldn't tell anyone.
Oh, no, yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I just think like what I was getting at is certain things like, I know me and Bleedo were talking about there's different and like scientific messages in there, underneath. Even in the New Testament, there's stuff like that it's actually talking about that could be beneficial. So, I wouldn't. That's why I say I wouldn't throw it out.
That's of any.
I try to pick that stuff out now and be like, oh, okay, this is what it's telling me, you know.
That's of any text though. That's of any like religious text. You know, I think there's truth in all of these religions and text. You know, the Buddhist text, the Hindu text. You know, all that. So there's truth in all of that.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, but we shouldn't put the Bible on a pedestal like, well, where does it say this? So why doesn't it have that? It shouldn't be held up to that type of scrutiny. You wouldn't hold up a child's. Well, you would if you had a regular dictionary in it. You wouldn't be asking, well, why does it have any math in here? Why does it tell me about geometry? Why doesn't it? You wouldn't ask that about a dictionary because that's not what it's used for. So a lot of times, we look at the Bible and we want things from it that are just not there. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because
I feel that. Yeah.
what we as Israelites, or in your case, former Israelites, what we do is we get like this. This is usually the path. You come in, you know that okay, you learn you're an Israelite. Okay, so you're following JC. This is the path for most people, not everybody. So you know you're Israelite, so you're following JC. Then you get out of that. Okay, now I'm not following JC no more, and then you're just stuck right there. You don't go any further. You don't go any further. But why is that? Like, there's so many other books that's out there that were written. The Talmud, the Gemara, things like that. There's so much other stuff that was written that we've been shunned and told not to read and not to deal with.
Right.
Because people are scared and stuff like that. Like, I applaud you. Go out and read some of this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Go out and read it. Go out and check it out. Kick the tires on it. See what it's about. You know what I'm saying? Because if you still believe in the Creator, then you got your own thing. As long as you're being a good human being, you're not stealing, you're not robbing, you're not raping. That's fine. That's fine with me. That's fine with me. Now, that don't mean
you don't have that fear anymore. Like I don't think we should ever stop. I think we should always keep on trying to learn everything, because I don't think we should get to where I don't think we can never get to where, oh, okay, this is it, I'm done. I don't think that's why we're here.
And that's the problem. That's the problem with the Israelite movement, is that it went up and then now it didn't quite hit the atmosphere to go out to space. So it's rushing back to the floor. It's going to explode and possibly be done away with because of people are stopped. They've stopped the studying. They don't want to study no more. They don't want to learn anything else. They have the doctrine, and 90% of them are waiting on JC to come with a million angels to save them. And that's it. And then nobody's actually trying to come together and say, okay, let's build, let's do this, let's do that. Like, we should be using this community as a hub to doing some of these things. But yet, it's still like the only really thing I see is people selling T-shirts left and right on Facebook. It's like, come on, like that's kind of like played out. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go to work, put our money together, and actually build something. You know what I'm saying? But we hate each other so much to where we couldn't even trust. You know what I'm saying? Another Israelite. That's that's part of the problem also.
Yeah. And then also too, like a lot of us don't even want like an education, and it's just like, how are you going to compete with all the other nations if you don't have like an education? You got to have an education. You know what I'm saying? Education is not a bad thing at all. It's actually a pretty good thing.
Yeah,
there's some people doing building and stuff like on. Are you guys on Facebook? Are you guys my Facebook friends?
No, I don't think so.
I just use YouTube. I have
oh, okay.
Function TV.
My Facebook link is attached, so okay. Like if you guys go to my page, you can friend me on. You can click on the Facebook link, because there's some people on Facebook that are doing things, and maybe that's a way to get involved or connect and see, what people are doing. Like that's my thing now, like what people doing, because like you said, I mean, and you know what else too? I think that'll help the movement, whatever this movement is. I think that what might happen, something will happen where people will see results. They'll be seeing something that works, and it may not be from their camp. And if they see something working, then maybe these camps will be a little more open. You see what I'm saying? And work with people outside of their little clubs when they see something working. That might be the thing that might help some of this division crap, man. I think. I don't know. That's what I think.
But you know, while I want to be positive, I don't think that that's really gonna work because these leaders of these camps, they have their mind set and made up. If you're not following me, then you
Oh
ain't
yeah,
got the
you're right.
truth.
The leaders probably won't. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. But when I say some of it, like it might help as far as some people, you're not going to get, I mean, the majority, they're going to be stuck in there. Yeah, you're right. Most people will be stuck in what they're doing, but you might able to, some people might,
Get a
a
few
few
people out.
people out of those. Yeah, like some people might make their way to the people trying to do stuff to help out. Some
Yeah.
people might get involved. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. Like, yeah, the camps aren't going to shut down and say, "Oh, let's do this." No, they're not. They're not going to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah, because they'll even like they'll start attacking you if if they see you doing some positive because they just have a natural hate. You know what I'm saying? They'll start attacking you and which is
And fear.
in fear. And that's so sad. It's so sad that it's like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying come up under me and come up under my train of thought and my school of thought and what I'm dealing with. I'm just saying, hey, check out the information that I have to offer.
Yep.
And whatever you have, I'll check out the information. And guess what? At the end of the day, when it comes time, if we could be, if we can build using that right there, and then when it comes time to do something economically, then hey, it makes it easier because now I already know your foundation and where you're coming from and what you're not willing to compromise with, and me, what I'm not willing to compromise with. So that shouldn't disjoin us to the point to where we can't build something together that we all can benefit from. You see what I'm saying? Like how they did the brother Dr. Umar Johnson, when about the whole school thing and people kept messing with the brother. I just found that like crazy because it's like, yo, I would have sent my child to his school. You know what I'm saying? Was he going to be teaching about Israelites? And no, he wasn't. But it was going to be a better school than what my child go to now.
Yeah.
So it's like we kind of threw the baby out with the bathwater, and it's just sad, man.
Yeah, I just see me. I just want to help out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to help out, and I think like that's the whole thing. Like, who was helping Umar? I don't know the situation or nothing, but I mean, like, were people trying to see? That's the thing. Egos get involved. Well, what's he doing with the money? What's he this and that? And it's sort of like,
And that's what
I mean, if you don't know, see the whole thing. Like, if everybody's doing their part, then who cares? Like, everybody's doing what they doing. Like, if you all doing your job, then who the hell cares what such and such is doing? Because it's all for the same benefit, man.
Exactly.
Who cares? Like, but because of ego, people are like, oh, he's above me. Oh, everybody's listening to him, and oh this and oh that. Oh, he's got more money, and people they all caught up in the wrong stuff. To me.
But I mean, even within that situation though, he had the $400,000 though, and he could have bought something with that. And I think, because me, like I said, like I think that in my opinion, that he wasn't honest. He wasn't upfront about it. And I just think, Umar is just not who he says. I like his idea, but he's not the person. He's not the right person for the job, in my opinion. I mean, he had like good intentions, but no, the man has a lot of issues he has to work out. I mean, I'm just being real.
But see, you know what?
I don't know too much about it.
But see, you know what? That's the kind of stuff that we got to be willing to swallow sometimes. You know what I'm saying? It's say, you know what? I don't really believe in this person, but they have a good idea. So let's build on the idea. You know what I'm saying? And if the person, if we can get this person the money and get them the utensils to execute that idea, then the hell with the person. Because now this person, now we're using this person's idea to springboard us to a better place. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of stuff that I don't like. You know what I'm saying? dealing with, the Christians and the Israelites, a lot of that stuff. But a lot of that stuff, I'm willing to swallow my pride and say, okay, well, let's just move forward with this. And if you have a good idea, all bets are off. Let's go with that idea. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like, look, the man's doing something. That's what I'm like he's doing something. Somebody's doing something. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and we need somebody in this community, in this movement, to do something. You know what I'm saying? And do I want to be a leader of, a whole nation of people? Not necessarily. No, I really don't. But do I want to be a part in helping? Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? And we have to, because, in this world, in this state that we're in right now, we get up Monday through Friday and go to work, and we do stuff that we don't want to do. I don't know about you. I don't know about you, brothers, but when I go to work, I don't want to do that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if I'm saying I want to help out the nation by doing this or doing that, those are the people that you need on your team, because they're going to be happy coming to work every day. They're going to be happy wanting to build. So we need brothers like that who this is what they actually want to do. But people that say, oh, you just want to be a leader and you just want to be seen. It's like, no, I'm doing what I enjoy. I'm doing what I enjoy. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of stuff, man. Just giving my 2 cents.
Yeah, and I think that if we become educated and get and have degrees in stuff that matters, then we can actually try to change some of the problems. We need more engineers, we need more computer scientists, we need more doctors, more lawyers. We need to really begin to start getting into STEM and stuff like that for us to kind of progress to
stuff where you don't have to work for somebody, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I definitely agree. I definitely agree with that. It's,
that's what everybody else is doing.
Education and technology is where it's at right now.
Yep.
And if we can get ourselves to a higher level with the technology, then I think that's the key right there to go inside this door. Some people, some camps would say, oh, well, no, we need the Bible, brother. Yeah, we need the Bible too, but we also need physical things that we can touch, taste, hear. You know what I'm saying? We need these things also. Like I can't eat a page out of the Torah and expect to be okay. You know what I'm saying? But we have to work for some of this stuff, and we have to work together to be able to get the money and the resources to build. I can't be sitting here munching on my Torah, ripping pages out. No, you can't do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what makes it so stagnant. It's so stagnant that people don't want to work together.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate y'all. I'm about to head out in a minute.
Oh yeah, no problem.
It was a good little talk. Like I just wanted to get the talking going. Just get a dialogue about some of this stuff, man. That's kind of difficult to talk about because it's a lot of stuff going on, and it's like, what do we do sometimes? Like, dang, like we need a direction.
And we need
to go
more
of
that. We need more discussions like this because a lot of Israelites, they're pushing for this 2019. Babylon's gonna fall, and it's like, what if that doesn't happen? You know what I'm saying? I mean, what if that doesn't happen? We gotta stop this whole fear mentality. We gotta get away from that. We gotta, continue to get out here and get this bread, and want to actually get out here and compete with these other nations. You know what I'm saying? That's
that's the whole thing. Like, you don't have to worry about Babylon falling if you build your own Babylon, build your own nation. You don't have to worry about it.
And let me say something to that, man, because I just think that it's a little bit funny. Like we have such a Messiah complex that it's almost crazy sometimes. It's like people talk about 2019. Man, listen, if the Messiah was to come and that Messianic age was ushered in tomorrow, a lot of people would be dead right now for breaking the laws and stuff like that. So we really don't want the Messiah to come in 2019. We really don't. Because if you wasn't ready, in 2018, you wasn't keeping the commandments, you're not going to be ready in 2019. Let's just keep it real. And I just think what we need to focus on.
What camp would he join?
Exactly.
I know, right? Hey, that's funny. See, that's what's so crazy to me, man. Like I just don't get it. Like we need to be focusing on getting ourselves to a better position. You
Yeah,
know,
we
and one thing else I want to touch on before we break out. It was somebody in there asked something about they put the fake Jews in there and 1940s and all that kind of stuff. You remember that question?
yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah.
See, that type of stuff right there is just weird to me too. You know what I'm saying? Like I think we need to get away from that kind of conspiracy stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
get away from that. And the reason I say that is this: if you believe what the scriptures say that we will return to the land, well, you have to look at what happened, who was placed into the land. You had a people that was placed into the land that were following Torah. Are all of them following it? By no means are they all following it. But a lot of them are there that are following it. You see what I'm saying? They are allowing others to return to the land. You see what I'm saying? Like certain Ethiopians and stuff like that. They are coming back. So people need to stop with the fake Israelites, this, and that. Now, if you're not keeping the commandments, you're not an Israelite anyway. You know, and that's why I try to tell people is like, if you're following Torah, you're an Israelite. That race stuff don't matter. You know, they need to throw that in the garbage, man. That race stuff don't matter. If you're keeping Torah, you're an Israelite. Now, if you belong to some of these camps, they'll say, "Oh, the strangers mean the Israelites that went." No, man, get that out of here. That's foolishness. If these so-called white Jews in the land, if they're keeping Torah, then those should be your brothers too. I don't see why that's so hard. Or they stole the land. How could they steal the land and take something that's yours? If they took it, you
But
know
you
who
see what I'm
got it. Go
saying?
get it back.
Yeah, but see, that's what I mean. Like these type of things, people go in circles, going back and forth, discussing these type of,
Right.
these are all like religious trivial stuff. It's sort of like that takes time away from, okay, how are we going to get to where we don't have to want what they got? I mean, we had to get to where we don't have to. Dang, they did a whole nation over there. We need that. Well, we need to be trying to do that ourselves. Who
Right.
cares if they trying to build a nation for some fake Jews or not? What's that got to do with us doing what we got to do?
Exactly.
These people going back and forth with this stuff, and it's like taking time.
But see that. But you're right. We run into a problem because now we're waiting for a Messiah to kick the fake Jews out of the land and put us back into the land. Like that, it takes our focus, like I said, off of what we need to be doing. We need to be trying to do for self. We need to be trying to do for self and get ourselves in a better
That's
state and
it.
condition than what we are. You know. But yeah, I just wanted to
All right,
touch
y'all. I'm
on
about to
that.
get off. Yeah,
Yeah.
hey, make sure y'all get on Facebook, like, because there's a lot of people on there doing stuff, and I'm trying to see what all is out there and all that. But yeah, hit me up on Facebook, and
Yeah, I hit
hopefully we
you.
can
I'm
connect
definitely
or whatever.
interested.
And
Yeah, same.
yeah,
All right.
all
Hey,
right, y'all. I
peace. Hey,
appreciate y'all.
good.
No
Hey, good
problem.
build, man. Thank you.
Mhm.
You too. Thank you.